Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Welcome to the Founders Day Ceremony 2025. We will begin with the opening speech by Dyan Eagles JDPSN.
To this Founders Day Ceremony 2025. We're here to remember and to celebrate the life and legacy of Zen Master Seung Sahn, who was the founder of our Zen school and our beloved teacher.
Can you hear her back there? The what?
Oops. So Zen Master Seung Sahn came to us from Korea in 1972, and he worked fixing washing machines until he gathered a small cohort of students to form the very first Providence Zen Center. That was actually in Providence, Rhode Island. And I was very lucky to meet Santanim in 1973 and to study with him for a long, long time. And of all the people that I've known in my life, he's the person that's had the most profound impact on me. And I know that all of us who knew him will never forget him, because he was one of a kind. I've never met anybody with his drive, with his energy, with his brilliance, with his wisdom. He was an amazing person. So for you, those of you who have read his teachings, but never knew him, I hope that I can make him come alive a little bit for you today. I might even say some things with his accent. I hope that's not offensive, but I kind of, that's the way I hear him in my mind. That's the way I hear him. So first take a good look at the photo of him that's on the cover of the program, because see, he's laughing. I think that this really captures his spirit, and it's the way I always picture him, like that in my mind's eye. He's laughing there, and he always laughed a lot. He laughed a lot. He could find the humor in everything. Whenever he gave a Dharma talk, he always had people just laughing. He was a really great, Dharma salesman. He was very funny. And I want to just describe a little bit more of what he looked like, because you can only see a little piece of him on the program. He wasn't a tall man. He was maybe 2 or 3 inches bigger than I am. So he was short, but he was very strong looking. He looked really strong, and he had kind of a sturdy, martial arts kind of build. And I thought he was really handsome, actually. I have to confess. So, and he always dressed in these gray monk's clothes, the gray monk's clothes. And he was always very meticulously ironed and clean, his clothes. But what I remember most, I always thought this was so funny, I remember his shoes. Do you remember his shoes? He used to have these little white he used to wear these little white rubber shoes. They looked like ballet slippers. He never, I mean, he never wore leather. He never wore leather on his feet. He never ate meat. He was very conscious of not harming animals. And whenever he went out somewhere in the summertime, he would always wear this, he had this hat that he would wear. It was like a little, it was a jaunty little hat. It was white, and it was like a Panama hat. It had a little brim on it. And then in the wintertime, he had a beret. He would wear this beret, and he would kind of tilt it on the side of his head. He always looked very chic and put together. And I think maybe he was like trying to teach us something, because we were all hippies at that time, and we were not like we were very sloppy when it came to, our presentation to the world. But he always looked very meticulous and put together. So when I first lived at the Cambridge Zen Center, my work period job when he came was to clean his shoes and his hat. And so he would make up this solution he would make up this solution of bleach and water, and he'd give me this toothbrush, and I would have to scrub his shoes and scrub his hat and try to get the fingerprints off and the scuffs. And when I think about it now, I mean, it's one of my happiest memories, actually. I mean, funniest memories, because this was during the early 70s, and it was like the height of the women's movement. And I was a very, strong feminist. I was driving a truck, and here I was on Saturday mornings scrubbing this man's hat and shoes, and not resenting it at all. And that's how much I really admired him. So one of my clearest memories of Daesan Snim was during interviews, and he would always say at the end of the interview, he would say, "Only go straight, don't know, and then your center will become stronger. Then you can control your feelings, your condition, your situation. Then you can believe in yourself 100%. And when he would do that, he would jab us in the belly. So it would be like, only go straight, don't know. Then your center will become stronger. And we would get this jab in the belly with his stick. He thought that was really funny. And he was very playful. He was a very playful, at least with me in interviews, he was very playful. And he made the interviews very fun. So I always liked Kwan practice. But I don't think his routine with the Zen stick would fly now. He would be arrested. Another thing that I always remember about Daesan Snim was just the only way I can describe his energy was like formidable, I guess is the word. He was like this freight train. He had so much energy. When he would come into Cambridge, suddenly like all the phones would start ringing, and people would start streaming into the Zen Center. And we would wonder, like, how does everybody even know that he's here? How did they even know that he's here? It was like way before the internet. And so we had all these things to accomplish. And then, 2 or 3 days later, he would be off again. And it was like everything would just, like the energy would just go back down. But it was very, he was amazing. So Seung Sahn didn't rest much when he was young. And by that I mean when he was under 60. He was always traveling, and he was always teaching First in Providence, then Cambridge, then New York, then he went to LA and New Haven, and pretty soon he was traveling all over the world. He added Europe, Asia, all these places. But I never once heard him say to anyone, or never ever heard of anybody even telling me that he ever said, sorry, I can't do that. I'll be away on vacation. You know, he absolutely, I don't think he ever took vacations. I think he should have probably, but he never stopped teaching. He never stopped teaching. He was absolutely dead serious about his vow to save all beings from suffering. And that's what he showed us with the way that he lived his life. He really showed us what it meant to just do it. Just do it. He put his whole heart into everything that he did. He just did it. And he never complained, and he never made a big show about being virtuous, you know, like save all beings from suffering. He was not, you know, one of these pious, he was like the exact opposite of one of these like pious, do-good type people. He was just an ordinary like man that just worked really hard, and his job was teaching. So you could tell that he really loved his work and he believed in what he was doing. And he really loved teaching us. And when he did relax a little bit, what he liked to do was he liked to go to action movies. And he liked eating Chinese food, and he liked staying in hotels. One time I went to Korea on business, and so I didn't want to stay at the temple because I was jet lagged and everything, and so I like hotels. I like fancy hotels, and so I stayed at this really fancy hotel in Seoul for a few days till I, started to feel better. And then I went up to Hwagesa to see Sansanim, and Sansanim said, "Why didn't you come to the temple?" And so I start into this big explanation. Oh, Sansanim, I have jet lag and I need to rest a little bit, and like that. I didn't want to tell him, I didn't want to get up at 3:00 in the morning, but I was like kind of beating around the bush and making this long explanation. And so he looks at me and he says, "You ask me," and I said, "Sansanim, why?" You ask me that question. Sansanim, why didn't you come to the temple? He goes, "I like hotels." Believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself. Don't give him this bullshit, right? Yeah. So anyway, he gave us many, many things, and that's why we're celebrating his life today. One of the things that he gave us is a lineage. Buddhism began in India, and then it went to China, and from there it went to Korea. And from Korea, through Daesan Sanim, it came to the West. And he gave to us the same teachings that he received from his teacher, who received it from his teacher, who received it from his teacher, on and on and on, all the way back, all the way to the time of the Buddha, in an unbroken chain. So Daesan Sanim he's our connecting link to a tradition that goes back 2,500 years. And it's a tradition of looking deeply into our fundamental nature. What am I? Don't know. And that's the question that he taught us to ask ourselves. And it's also the very same question that Buddha asked himself. And so it's because of this connection that we're all here today. Another thing that he gave us is an international family, Dharma family. So we have, all of us here, we all have hundreds of Dharma brothers and sisters all over the world. Any place you want to go in the world, just about, there'll be a Zen center nearby. And what's so amazing is that any Zen center that you go to, no matter what language is being spoken in that country and whether you understand it or not, when you walk through the front door, you'll feel right at home because you already know exactly what to do. You know the schedule, you know the chants, you know how to eat with the 4 bowls. You know what to expect. So when you go any place and to any of our Zen centers, it's just like going home. It's just like visiting your family. So Sansnim died in 2004. That's 21 years ago. If he were still living, he would be 115 years old, almost as old as Jojo, right? Jojo lived to be around 120. Yeah. So this Zen school and all of us here today are his legacy. And I'm sure that if he were here right now, he would be very proud. He would be so happy to see all of you now. And I think, do we have Zoom today? Yeah. Yeah, and I think that he would have loved Zoom. He would say, Zoom, very wonderful. Everybody mind, light, all connect. That's what he would say. And finally, he gave us everything that he ever learned in his life. He gave us all his teaching, all his wisdom, the bowing, the chanting, the sitting, the ketos, the kimchi, our Zen outfits, trips to Korea, all the stories that he told us. He didn't hold back. And speaking of stories, I have another really endearing memory. I'm sorry this is long. I just have so much to say about him. But he loved to tell stories, and that was one of the ways that he taught. And whenever he would tell a story, I don't have a small Zen stick, but whenever he told a story, he would always take his Zen stick and he'd put it under his chin like this. And then he'd look out at everybody. And he'd, like a grandfather, right? And he'd say, long time ago in China. And that's how every single story would start. And so we have lots of, if you read his books, you'll find many of the wonderful stories that he told us. He was a brilliant teacher, and it's hard to believe that he came here without knowing any English at all. And when I first met him, he was studying at Harvard at I forget what they call the program that's not for Harvard students, but it's for extension, Harvard Extension. And he was taking English. He would stay in Cambridge 3 days a week, and then 4 days he would be here. He put really a lot of energy into learning English and coming up with like the exact right teaching phrases. And he would, only go straight, don't know. Try for 10,000 years, nonstop. Just do it. You must keep your correct situation, correct relationship, correct function. Or sometimes he would say, you must make I, my, me. That was a really, I think, ingenious way to talk about like what in psychology is called the ego, or other Buddhist traditions, the ego. You must make I, my, me disappear. And he would say, sometimes we hated this one, don't make anything. No, that wasn't the one we hated. He would say, don't make anything and you will get everything. But the one we really hated was, a bad situation is a good situation, and a good situation is a bad situation. And he would also say, always keep enough mind. But his very best teaching phrase, I think, was for you. So he would often ask, why do you eat every day? For you. That was his main message to us. Only go straight, don't know, find your true self, and then use your life to help this world. You could spend your whole life like working on any one of those teachings. So the first time that I'll never forget, the first time that we all went to Korea with Sansanim on a whole world as a single flower trip. It was in 1982, and up until then, none of us had met any other Zen masters. He was like our first Zen master, and we met him here in the United States. And I have to say that we treated him very casually. We treated him like a really good friend or a family member, and he never corrected us. He never said anything. He never corrected us. And so when we got to Korea the first time, it was a big shock. It was a shock to us to see the esteem that people held him in. People would, like everywhere he would go, people would bow, and these big black limos would pick him up to take him places. And that was when we realized what a highly regarded, respected teacher he was, and how lucky we were to have him teach us, and what bad manners we all had. And after that trip, I think all of us became much more respectful and appreciative of him. His teaching style was very, very skillful, and he repeated the same things over and over and over. He had these phrases, and I'm sure you've all heard them by now. And as a result of hearing it all the time, his teachings went very deeply into all of our consciousness. So even now, I hear him talking to me sometimes. I can hear his voice. Dyan, just do it. Dyan, put it all down. Dyan, only go straight, like that. So I hear his voice, and I think that was so good, the way that he taught. And besides just Dharma talks and things, he could turn any moment into a teaching situation. He was a really, really brilliant teacher. He would always talk to us about keeping enough mind. And he always taught us that if you want anything, then you'll get suffering. So he instructed us that moment to moment, always keep enough mind. And by that he meant the mind that's completely okay with whatever's happening, with things just the way that they are, whether it's a good situation or whether it's a bad situation. In other traditions, they might call that equanimity, but Sansanim called it enough mind. So sometimes when he came to Cambridge, you probably heard me tell this story before, but I love this story. Sometimes he would come to Cambridge, and if he didn't have any plans to eat dinner with Korean people, he would invite us all to go out to the Chinese restaurant. Now, we didn't have 30 people at the Zen Center then. We only had maybe 6 or 8 people. But he would take us down to Chinatown in Boston, and we would be really, really excited because the food was really terrible at the Zen Center in those days. We didn't know anything about vegetarian cooking. We didn't know about balancing proteins or probably even what a vegetarian protein was. We just ate, every night we ate rice and sauteed vegetables. That was what we ate. So when we would get a chance to go to Chinatown and have food, that was a really big deal. And so when we'd get to the restaurant and we would sit down, he'd always say to the waiter, "No meat, no fish." And then he would order massive amounts of food. It was like he would order massive amounts of food, and it would be like enough to feed an army. I remember the first time that we went out, I always wondered, like, who's going to eat all this food? And so we would eat it, and we would enjoy it, and we would get very full, and always there would be food left over, lots of food left over. Well, Daesan Sangha didn't believe in doggy bags, and he didn't believe in wasting food either. And so he would make us eat. He would make us eat and eat until we finished like every last speck of rice. And when we were finished, no one wanted to eat ever again. And then he would laugh. He would laugh at us, and he would say, "Tonight, everyone attained enough mind." So he was a wonderful teacher and an exceptional human being. And because of his remarkable energy, his wisdom, and his generosity of spirit, we have a lineage, we have a large international Zen family, and we have a wealth of teaching to guide our practice. This is his legacy, and we're very grateful for all that he's given us. And so today we remember him with love and gratitude, and we honor him today. So I'm going to end this talk, which has been too long, but I really had to tell you all these things. I'll end by saying what he would say to us if he were here right now, and he were finishing a Dharma talk. This is what he said every time. He would say, "I hope you only go straight, don't know." I'm going to cry, which is clear like space. Soon finish the great work of life and death, get enlightenment, and save all beings from suffering. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dyan, for that wonderful talk. At this point, everybody can stand up for the threefold refuge.
To all who live,
be seated. I don't think we have any children. Do we have any children here today? None, right? Very funny. Ha ha. All right, so this would be normally the offering of the flowers to the Buddha. So there's some flowers there, and we'll consider them offered. And next up, we'll have 3 minutes of silent meditation. Next up, we'll hear Zen Center updates from representatives of the local Zen centers. The form when you come up is to bow to the Buddha, bow to the monks, bow to the teachers, bow to the Sangha. And then when you're done, bow to the Sangha, bow to the teachers, bow to the monks, bow to the Buddha. Right. Yeah, so it's Buddha, monks, teachers, Sangha. There'll be a test. We'll break out the stick if you mess it up. So first up, from Choge International Zen Center is of New York, Manu Garcia Guillen.
Good morning, everybody. Morning. So you may wonder why the Kwan Zen Center of New York is called Choge International Zen Center. So I investigated, and it turns out that our founder, Zen Master Seung Sahn, thought that New York being a place where there are many immigrants, we would maybe have an international group. So I don't know if I would call the current Sangha an international Sangha, but the truth is that we are constantly attracting people speaking other language than English. We have more and more people speaking French, speaking Spanish, and we even have people barely speaking English. And yet, as Dawn pointed in her speech, they always feel very welcome in our New York Sangha. Exactly like I felt many years ago when I first arrived at the New York Zen Center and could barely understand what was said to me in the interview rooms. But you know what? You don't need to understand every single word to grasp the core of something. And in fact, by not understanding every word, by having to find other kind of clues to understand what's being said, it can bring you closer to a kind of mystery that is usually hidden behind words. Really. So in fact, to tell you about the New York Zen Center, I don't even know pourquoi je m'emmerde à vous parler en anglais. Je peux très bien vous dire tout ça dans une autre langue. Para deciros lo acogedora y hospitalaria que es la Sangha de Nueva York. Au Centre Choge International de New York, nous avons la chance d'avoir 2 maîtres zen. Maître zen Kwan y Maestro zen Jokum. Y también tenemos 3 maestros del Dharma, Paul, Colin y Mateo. Nous avons des sessions le lundi, mardi, jeudi, vendredi et samedi matin, y también los miércoles por la noche. Nuestra querida residente Camarón está haciendo un trail en la costa oeste, pero estará de vuelta en septiembre. En attendant, nous sommes ravis d'accueillir So Young comme nouvelle résidente, qui sera avec nous pendant tout le mois d'août. Alors, si a vosotros también os apetece pasar una temporada como residente al Centro Choge International de New York, vous êtes vraiment les bienvenus. Merci, Mike. Danke, shukran, kusunum.
When Manu comes up here, it's always going to be something. Always. Next up, the abbot of the New Haven Zen Center, Paul Bloom.
Well, is this working? Yeah? Okay, great. So it's a pleasure to be here today, and I'll cover some of the issues that probably everybody wants to cover in terms of what the energy of practice, et cetera, looks like at the moment. But I also wanted to mention that New Haven Zen Center is literally one of the 4 oldest temples, ongoing temples in the United States. Not to denigrate Providence, but but we moved into this lovely 3-story wooden, typical clapboard house in New Haven after Providence was established, and then Providence moved here, so we've been there longer. And in light of that, we want to keep it going for another 40 years. And so how do we do that? And so we're involved in a renovation of the building and thinking about renovation of the programs and things like that. The major renovation of the building is that it's this lovely house. However, everybody enters from the back. So the back door of a house is the back door of a house, and we want to make it look like the entrance to a temple. So we're working on that. In addition to that, the issues that everybody is engaged with are important, and I'll say a few things about that. So first of all, we give intro twice a month. And it is always attended, which is lovely. Sometimes 2 people, sometimes 6 people, you never know. And we're a very small center. We only have about 30 formal members. And so that kind of pass-through on a monthly basis is quite lovely. And many of those people who come for intro at least attend a few of the practices ongoing. 1 or 2 of them end up actually being very strong recurrent practitioners. Community practice in general is way stronger than it was before COVID. And so my sense is that's not just us, but that's in general, but we'll hear more about that from others. But it's definitely much more energetic than it was before the COVID period. The residential program, so because we were started early on, we were established as a residential center, and we have space for seven people, and we usually have 4 to 7 people, and 3 people is sufficient to just carry the center forward. But we always have residential practice there, and the residential practice at the moment is fairly strong, so that's nice to see. Lastly, and I don't know how this carries over to other centers, but I'm curious to hear, we've been given a number of substantial anonymous donations over the past few years, and I don't know whether that comes from the U.S. or Korea or what, but we have a very comfortable backlog, which is part of why we can do the renovations we'd like to do. I don't know what that dynamic is about, but no complaints. And I just wanted to mention it. So I hope everybody else's Sangha practice is strong, and great again to be here today.
Well, one small correction though, it's 50 years, not 40. 50 years. So the center started, it was pre-Kwan actually for a while, and then it became a Kwan Center. And there's a video online of the 1985 10-year anniversary. So it's been 50 years this year, I think. It's kind of amazing. Next up, Plymouth Zen Group, Siobhan Green. Did I say it wrong? No. Is she not here? Is anybody from Plymouth Zen Group here that wants to give an update? Manu, you want to come up and do some French again? Next up, Cochise Zen Center. Are they here? Yeah, awesome. Sharon Miller and Heather Spunta.
here where we speak. Good day to everybody. We're here from Bisbee, Arizona. And if you haven't heard of that before, it's about 10 miles north of Mexico and about an hour and 45 from Tucson, south. And it was an old mining town. And it's got about 5,500 residents. And I've been on a travel journey, and someone just suggested, why don't you try there? That's kind of how my journey's been going. And of all things, to drive into this beautiful, high desert, I'm from South Florida, completely different environment than where I came from. And to go to an Airbnb, and I keep trying to remember, I had practiced with South Florida Zen Center for about 7 years, and but had not for a few years. Took that kind of living Zen practice with me on travels, and to come to Bisbee and hear there's a Kwan School Zen Center. I mean, the last place you would ever expect that. I knew it was a call. You know, it's one of those calls that we get. And our Zen master is Zen Master High Moon, Barry Briggs, which some of you I know him. And he talks about ending up there by accident. And there was a group that would meditate, you know, and he came in and has just built a really exciting place within the mountains, you know. He always has in his Dharma talks penal schist, which is this layer of rock. You could probably, because you're from that area, and always uses that in his Dharma talks. Of course, I thought he was saying penile schist. Don't look penile schist up. Those aren't the definitions. But neither of us have been practicing with the center too long. I just became a Dharma teacher a couple months ago. And Barry likes to say there's no other Zen center, I think, for 50 miles around.
No, it's bigger.
It's bigger?
Hundreds.
Yeah, probably 100.
Phoenix.
So, like, we're it, you know? And I don't know, it has even just, I guess I've been there beginning 2 years ago, practicing during the winter. And it's just been growing, that's for sure. And Heather is from the area. And you've been practicing, about a year? So we can't give you a lot of history between the two of us.
Yeah. I don't have the history, but I think I want to describe what our center is. You come into this really small town, and it's really remote all around it. And you drive through this kind of, we call it the Gulch. You drive through the Gulch, which was historically a sketchy kind of part of town. And you go up, and you go up, and you go up, and you go, where the heck is it? And you see this like shed, and you're like, don't know. And you walk up this hallway, and it's the first day you're like this little driveway, and you're going up, and you look and you go, I still don't know if we're here. And there's this tiny little sign, and it says Kochi Zen Center. And you walk in, and on the outside it's this shed, it's rough. And when you walk inside, we have a gray floor and white walls, and it's clean, and it's simple, and the space is beautiful, and it's inviting, and we have such an incredible teacher. And I feel like the space inside and out and our community really just overall reflects what we're offering there. You know, it feels welcoming, it feels humble, it feels sacred, and I just love it. Yeah.
As many of us do.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.
Well, we're still in training.
Let's get us.
There's a saying in the Navy that if you see something, no matter what, just salute. If it doesn't salute back, paint it. So maybe that's the Zen Center version. Just keep bowing. Excuse me. Next up, Cambridge Zen Center, John Colwait.
All right, that was the correct order. I think I got a C plus the last time I did it, so shoot for an A today. Oh, good morning, everybody. It's so special and nice to be here. I'm John, the abbot of Cambridge Zen Center, and things are very, very busy. I think I echo a lot of what the previous speakers spoke about. There seems to be a very strong need for our practice in the world today, and we probably are very aware of why. So it's just so special to have this type of opportunity to ground whatever wild things are going on out there and in here. So it's just great appreciation I have when I step up here and see this lineage and all the teachings from all the years. It's truly wonderful. So Cambridge Zen Center is very, very busy. We're obviously in the heart of Cambridge and the Boston area. It's a true team effort with the residents and the community. We couldn't do it without our amazing staff, Barbara, our director, Eric, our head Dharma teacher, Bobby Y, who's our kitchen master and house master, who's in the kitchen here right now, and also Bobby A, who's our very busy guest master. So our guest program is very big. Our short-term residents are coming and going, and our long-term residents are numbered of 30 at this time. So we're very, very busy. We are seeing some blessings, if I can say that, of donations, which is helping things run very smoothly most of the time. Lots of building maintenance, as most of these buildings that we inhabit are not the most modern buildings and are constantly in demand of work, but we've been very fortunate to have a great committee, our board, and everybody supportive of the work being done. We have a lot of outreach going on. We have an outreach and engagement committee surveying and working with members in the community to address their needs. We have a very active fundraising committee, which is starting to whip up some funds for us. And we also have Young Zen program. We have Elder Zen program. And a number of ways to at BIPOC groups and social justice groups. So a way to accommodate a variety of needs, but everything is centered back on practice, on the Dharma, and strengthening that aspect. Also, we're very lucky to have 6 people taking precepts tomorrow and 1 person becoming a Dharma teacher. So the lineage will hopefully continue and grow. And just huge gratitude for this amazing Sangha and Quantum School worldwide. Just thank you so much.
The Providence Zen Center, Danielle Alfer. Oh, I'm sorry. So I just stepped on his bone.
Hi, everybody. My name is Danielle Alfer. As Keith mentioned, I'm the director here of the Providence Zen Center. I would like to start off by echoing Dyan and thanking Zen Master Seung Sahn for landing here in little old Providence, Rhode Island, and bringing the 3 jewels to the West. I also want to offer deep gratitude to everyone who makes the Providence Zen Center what it is. To our teachers, our donors, our residents, volunteers, members and guests, thank you. Your care, your presence, and your continued effort and practice are what keep this temple alive. To our staff in PZC Sangha, you are the energy behind the scenes, the one who show up every day, week after week, month after month, holding the ground of this place. We see you and we thank you. I want to thank Zen Master Bobby Rhodes and our school Zen Master for your steady leadership and dedication to the global Sangha. It really means so much. To Zen Master Gong, Kwan JDPSN, our guiding teachers at PZC, your presence reminds us that Zen is not just something we talk about, it's something we live together in relationship and function every day. I want to thank Mary Kay and Serena and the entire Zen Fest team who support this and make this happen. You all also help my job be easier, so thank you all. Thank you all. This day is truly the result of together action among all of us. It truly does take a Sangha. There's just no one doing it all, or even no few doing it all. It's all of us, many of us. I personally want to take this moment to thank Carol Boudreau. Carol, you have been you were my first and strongest connection to this Sangha. The practice is the catch, as you all know, but Carol, you were the hook. You were the one that kept me coming back, and I cannot thank you enough. It changed my life, and it put me here right at this moment. And that's the truth of this place. It takes all of us. As Zen Master Seung Sahn said, only go straight, don't know. Try for 10,000 years, nonstop. Just now, the Providence Zen Center is not only a local Zen center, it is already a global training ground for the Quantum School of Zen. It's the founding temple of our school. It's the head temple of the Americas. It is the honored host of Kilche here in the Americas. And it's also the place where our Sangha gets to convene at home 4 times a year, and who knows, maybe even more. PZC is both the genesis and the nexus of the Quantum School of Zen, the place from which our path began and the place that continues to hold the center. This moment is not just a thank you, it's an invitation to connect as one Sangha, to see ourselves not as isolated temples and groups, but as a single body, a network of practitioners, centers, sitting groups, and online communities, all practicing one path, all held together by the teaching of Don't Know Mind. Our job is to be visible, available, and accessible, to let people know they can come here and give us a try. As SK, former Yang An Sanim from Malaysia, he and I had a conversation. He said, we just got to get people in the door to give us a try, and then they'll come back. Let them know who we are, what we do, and where to find us. Our correct direction is to help all beings, and we do that investing in our practice, in our community, in our Sangha, and in this temple. One of the biggest things I took from our practice here, I practice here at PZC, and I also tune in on Kuzo quite a bit when I can't be here at the temple. Anjay Stek, JDPSN, he said one day on one of the calls, we are a global Sangha, you are never alone. There's always somebody to practice with. We are an international community. If you wake up in the middle of the night, no matter what time zone you are in, you can tune in and chant with somebody. It's amazing. I don't know any other school or lineage or whatever that is so connected that you can just tap in. So for that, I'm forever grateful. Okay, so that was gratitude. So now, some of the things that are happening at PZC. I want to let you know our Dharma school is happening again, starting in September. We are mirroring a regular school year. So we completed last year for 24 and 25, so we're starting it up again in September. PZC now has an art club. So we meet every other week. We're running out of space actually. So many people are appearing. People are making things. You'll see them on our art gallery. Thank you to Eva for making it happen to get that wall so we can display. We're displaying art from many of you in the Sangha, not just here at PZC. And what the art club is creating is an art community here at PZC, and we're tying it to artist practice retreats. Thank you to Paul Bloom and Willie Garver for supporting that, and Matt Keeler, I think you're going to be involved maybe in one of them. So we have that. We also are going to be doing our first Zen in Motion retreat. This is an opportunity for us to kind of expand the message out to the community, to bring people in, back to getting people in and giving it a try. So this in October, Dave Fitzpatrick, one of our Sangha members here, is going to lead hiking out in our trails, and we're going to do sitting and hiking, so come join us. Again, it's Zen in Motion. It's going to be the first of a series. The motion will change per event. Finally, Dharma Teacher Weekends here, October 18th and 19th. There's a survey out. Give your thoughts. Tell us what you want to see and hear about. And everybody's invited to Zensgiving. I know it's August, but November is going to be here before you know it. 7-day YMJJ with Zen Master Bobby Rhodes is open for registration in December, followed by Enlightenment Day, and then we also have Winter Kilche. Kilche's open, ready for registration. I invite you all to join us. As a reminder, PZC is open for residency. Anybody who is interested or thinking about living in community, please reach out. We'd love to have you. And with that, I just appreciate everybody's love and support, your efforts. I just cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. Yeah. Did you have something?
If you don't mind, I'd like to thank Zen Master Day Kwan visiting here for
Yeah.
in Providence.
I apologize. Yes. Yes, so much so. I have to say, Zen Master, getting to see you every time I come to the Zen Center and just being, it's
This is his favorite thing.
well, it's amazing.
Phrase on this, he lives for this.
Well, because I didn't get to meet Zen Master Seung Sahn, but I get to meet all you. And being able to spend the little bit of time that we spend each time I'm here is just forever with me, and I greatly appreciate it. And thank you, Gary, for pointing that out. And I apologize for not including that initially. So thank you all. Have a good day.
She thanked everybody but herself. So, yeah. When she took over the directorship, it was an immediate, you could see a big change. She does a monthly thing with all the abbots and people who are involved in the various centers, and I'm sure it feels like herding cats all the time, but we end up somehow together on Zoom sharing, and it's really helpful. It's helpful to our center, and I think to a lot of other centers, so thank you. Next up, we'll have a Dharma speech will be given by Zen Master Gong.
The true way is not depending on understanding. The true way is not depending on not understanding. Understanding is illusion, not understanding is blankness. Huh! Why do you make right and wrong? So one of my favorite gongs is case 19 in the Mumun Kwan. Yeah? It's about Zen Master Joju. And Joju, you know, is a very special Zen master. You already heard that. He lived almost a little short of 120 years. Yeah? Plus, he's very popular. He appears in a lot of cases, in a lot of stories. The dog, the balls, the shit stick, the tree in the garden, the hermits, the old woman. You name it. Yeah? Very famous. But in this story, he's young. He's like us. He's a student. Very sincere. With a big question. Yeah? So for me, it's always been encouraging that Gong to see that someone like, say, Master Joju, he was also a student. He had questions. So he went to see his teacher, Nan Chuan. Yeah, Nan Chuan, the one with the cat, you know. Huh. And he had a dog. Maybe that's another Dharma talk. But I digress. So he comes to see Nan Chuan with this question. What is the true way? Right? Most of us may have something similar. What is life about? Does it have a meaning? Why are we here? What is all this? Why do we need these robes and Buddha and all that? What is this? Yeah? And Nan Chuan said, well, everyday mind is the true way. Everyday mind is the true way. Yeah? Just like that. I'm talking, you're listening. That's it. But that doesn't feel pretty good. We don't believe it. Yeah? That's why Seung Sahn used to say you have to believe in yourself 100%. We do not believe that. We expect something else. We want something else. Something bigger. There has to be some deep meaning. There has to be some type of enlightenment that we need to get. Yeah? Maybe it's just me, but I think we're wired that way. Yeah? And then Joju is still curious. Yeah? He asks another question, which is something that we humans do. Yeah? Well, should I try to keep it? Now that I know this teaching, you know, everyday mind is the true mind, should I try to keep it? And that we do that. You know, we find something and we keep it. We make something and we keep it. Yeah? Something used to say, don't make, don't hold, and attach, but we make it. We make everyday mind is the true way. We like that. We hold it. Maybe we attach to it. Next thing you know, we can create a Zen school called the Everyday Mind is the True Way. Yeah? And Nan Chuan, I like the guy. He said, well, you know, if you try to keep it, you are already mistaken. Strike two. Yeah? Imagine that. You think you have something precious, that you want to keep it. You want to savor it. And the teacher tells you, that's a mistake. Yeah. But I think Joju had some humility and some honesty with himself. Sometimes I think those are the fruits of don't know, you know, honesty and humility. And he asked his last question. Well, if I don't keep it, how am I going to understand it? And that's something that we do too, especially in the West. We're very intellectual. We have to analyze everything, yeah, dissect it. That's how we're going to understand this everyday mind is the true way, yeah. And then Nan Chuan, you know, his explanation's getting a little longer now. He says, well, the true way is not depending on understanding or not understanding. Understanding is illusion. Not understanding is blankness. And you see he covers both sides. Because we humans too, if we hear, oh, understanding is illusion. Oh, okay, well, get rid of thinking. We go to the other extreme. So no, not understanding is blankness. And now he gives us, and show you the secret. If you completely attain, not understanding, not holding, attain the true way of not thinking, That's the recipe, the true way of not thinking. Then it's like space, clear and void. And then the punchline is, why do you make right and wrong? So he not only gives a recipe, not thinking, but he also points to what gets in the way of that. Yeah, making right and wrong. And lately, it's still my favorite Kwan, because lately I've been paying attention to the last part. And that's the part, like any other Zen story. Pa-pa! He got some enlightenment with that. But these days, I think that we are past making right and wrong. I think we're making allies and enemies. We're getting very vicious with each other. We're ready for a fight. All the stuff that's going on inside and outside. Yeah. Another Gong story I like is in the whole world. It's a single flower in the section with it. Seung Sahn had some Christian koans, talking about something eclectic. Yeah. Case 71, and this is a poem by the German mystic Angelus Silesius. Yeah. It's very simple, I love it. It says, the nightingale does not resent the cuckoo's simple song. But you, if I don't sing like you tell me that I'm wrong. You tell me that I'm wrong. Wow. Yeah. That's us. I think we're too attached to our likes and dislikes. I think we're too attached to our right and wrong these days. Yeah? And we forget that life is impermanent, that nothing is definite. Yeah? That life is imperfect. Nothing is quite the way we want it to be. Yeah, there's something always messing up with that. Yeah? And that life is impersonal, but we get self-righteous. I'm wrong. You're wrong. Yeah. And where's compassion in all this? Where's our compassion? In Buddhism, we talk a lot about compassion, wisdom and compassion. Here too, as the Bodhisattva vow. Yeah. Compassion this, compassion that. How can I help you? There's an emeritus professor at Princeton, and I use this in some of my talks. Some of the locals heard this before. Mauricio Viroli, he was a professor of politics at Princeton. And I saw a video once, and he was at this symposium talking about faith. And then he said, who's practicing solidarity? Practicing, not preaching. Notice, he's emphasizing the action piece, like in us, Zen. Who is taking care of the sick, the people that are discriminated against, the orphans, all this. And then he said, to my knowledge, the only people that are capable of practicing compassion, and that's the phrase that, capable of practicing compassion, are more or less people with some type of religious faith. And to me, he said, this is perplexing. Yeah? They do it not out of the fear of God, but out of the love of Christ. They don't do it because they fear God, but they do it because of the love of Christ. So those two pieces, capable of practicing compassion. And that piece about the direction. It's not out of fear. It's about this love. That stayed with me. Many years, I still use it. Yeah. So what motivates our compassion? Yeah. Is my compassion motivated by my personal and professional interest? I'm a Zen master. Yeah. I'm a spiritual person. Yeah. I gotta be compassionate. It's part of my job. So is my compassion motivated by this sense of self and other? Hello, cuckoo. I'm the nightingale, and I have a high level of achievement in music and rhythm. You only use 2 notes and a very simple rhythm. I'm here to change that. I'm going to help you. Yeah. And vice versa. You know, the cuckoo can say the same thing. Doesn't I think that's, man, they're so complicated. It's like, whatever. Yeah. Or is the compassion motivated by aggression? Yeah, by aggression. Thich Nhat Hanh said that a peace march is not a peace march. We are not demanding peace, we are making peace. Wow. If you think about it, in those situations we are demanding stuff. Because we get angry, we are demanding fairness. And all this, which is good, but if that anger gets out of hand, it doesn't have direction, then we're not making peace. You know, we're demanding it. So there's a slight difference there. Yeah. And the other piece for me that we think of is who deserves our compassion? Yeah. Is it the people I think that deserve it? You know? Is it the self and others? Is it the sick, the poor? Is it the people I like? The people that are nice to me? Yeah. Can I generate compassion for the people I don't like or the things I don't like? Can I generate compassion for those that we consider our enemies? Yeah. We recite these vows. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to say them all, but you know, there's a little footnote. Yeah, except, you know. Yeah. If you're laughing and smiling, maybe you understand too. So he's capable of practicing compassion. Makes me think of this, what I call the practical compassion. Practical compassion. So it's like difference, you know. They just do it, mind. Yeah. And we're so glad to have the teachings, Sansanim. You know, put it all down. Your situation, your condition, your opinion. Put it all down. Cut through that. Believe in yourself 100%. Yeah. Hidden here. This is the center of gravity of our body, you know, the hara, the tangent. Yeah. That's where we go. Sitting there in retreat. Yeah. But this practical compassion has no I, my, me. Yeah. Jill Popsney mentioned that. There's no I, my, me there. There's no self. There's no other. It's impartial. Yeah. And that takes courage, takes responsibility. Yeah. I ran into a Chinese phrase, I don't know if it's Confucian or not, but it says something like, to care for others, one must be unconditional. To care for others, one must be unconditional. If your compassion has a motivation behind it, it is not practical compassion. If your compassion makes self and other, it is not practical compassion. If you completely attain the true way of not thinking, then practical compassion appears by itself. Zen Master Seung Sahn used to say, if you keep your mind wide and clear like space, then compassionate function to others is possible. So Jews are from all the centers and all that in different language. Gracias, merci, grazie. What a wonderful Sangha we have. Let's help each other have a great celebration of Founders Day.
Thank you, Zen Master. So next up, we will have the Founders Day poem written and read by Matt Keeler, Jito Popesini.
Founder. Hitting. Shouting. Ha! Laughing. Before thinking, only expounding. Brought from Korea. Firm faith in us. Everyone everywhere putting down mind dust. Sitting, shouting, hitting. Hurry up. Bowing, chanting, mantra, flurry of, Zen centers here, Zen centers there. Direction is clear, waking up hair, family everywhere, monk, nun, and lay. Only doing, just doing, non-attached way. Providence, Cambridge, New Haven, Alaska, Warsaw, Krakow, Vilnius, Palma. Borisov, Musang Sa, Vienna, Haifa. Community Zen temple life, all the world over. Original empty, no original sin. I mean my thinking craving, make suffering din. Bubbling forth from Seung Sahn fountain. Ancient Korean stories fire bodhisattva imagination. Must find your center, move in here. Age-old creation, letting Zen way of no doing. Non-attached way. Inspiration noodles eaten at Hope Street. Mind meal at New York, Q&A, 14th Street. Line out the choge, one-bedroom condo door. Helping his friend, whose whole family killed in Cambodia. Together with Supreme Cambodian Patriarch and Gethsemane monks too, all on no one's ark. Iron crow bows, wooden lark walks. Enough mind fish never touches the hook. Infinite time, infinite space. All attain at the same time, in the same place. Gratitude with Hapchong for past futures today. For great love, great compassion, great bodhisattva way. Now we celebrate the founder of Zen. His spirit still helping all. Zen Master Seung Sahn. Thank you.
Next, we'll have Zen Master Joe Kum, who will give the speech to celebrate giving.
Oh, there's more people when you're not looking at the floor. Look at all this. I'm still on the edge of my seat because I was waiting for Matt to come up with something to rhyme with Alaska. So I started really paying attention. And if somebody has that offering, please talk to Matt. Consider what only you can do. Joju had a good teaching about that. Somebody asked him, "What's it like when it's right on the edge?" And he said, "I have to go make water. It's a pity, even such a trivial thing I have to attend to myself." How does it come to be that there's something only you can do? That's odd. We practice to learn how to be a sentient being among sentient beings, and yet there's something for each of us only we can do. We don't think about that, or we think about it too much, one way or the other. So consider, what are we doing here? How did we get here? And where are we going? So the doing here clearly has something to do with the ceremony, but why this thing in this place at this time, and what is it only you can do in this room during the ceremony? How did we get here? All the previous speakers said something about that. This was a Seventh-day Adventist nursing home before it became a Zen Center. Providence Zen Center on Hope Street had been a funeral home. Maybe we're working backwards and our next place will be a birthing center. But we kind of are, if you think about it, if you'd like to stretch the metaphor. But the point is, every place we've chosen to practice was something else before. And then it became a place of practice. And one thing each of us can do is to take something that was something else before and turn it into a moment of practice, which only you can do. The Dharma only arises for each person in each person. So only you can see that for you. And then when you see that, there's something only you can do, and therefore maybe something each of us must do. Where do we go with that? Has something to do with how all that passes through us. How do we occupy this space in our ecosystem, which only you can occupy because you're the only one standing there? So what do I do with the fact of my being the one who's in this space? That's common for all of us. For all of us, we're all standing in the only place where we are. And for all of us, there's something only each of us can do. And for all of us, there's Sangha. Because there's nothing to be done if there's not Sangha. So how do we Sanghify? The first paramita suggests that it's giving. But the first paramita only arises when you see where you're the only one who's standing and what only you can do. And it only arises if you have some appreciation for the vast lineage since beginningless time that brought each of us to the place where only we're the only one standing in that place. And then we move and we're the only one standing in the next place. So we participate by stepping into that And we can appreciate by trying to pretend that's not so. But let's pretend it is so. It's a better story. And if you see that better story, then there's countless opportunities to participate in the giving that's always passing through us, that is formless, and therefore it has many forms. And I don't want to enumerate the forms because then I'll sound like I'm placing an obligation upon you, and that's not my job, that's your job. So please honor what belongs to you. Let it flow through you. You know what this means for you. You're the only one who knows what it means for you. You can share it, but still you're the only one who has it in that way, in that place, that only you can have to do what only you can do. This ceremony celebrates that. What a thing to celebrate, being the only one who's in the place that only you are. And yet there's a lot going on there. So let's open our eyes together. The form is that we'll chant Kwan all together. Everybody knows how to do that. We'll take our pledge envelopes and form a line and put them in there. Everybody knows how to do that. We'll return to our seats. Everybody knows how to do that. So, in a way, we're celebrating what everybody knows how to do by doing it together, to help everybody do what everybody knows how to do. So let's do it.
Said, on your cushions, you'll find a form, an envelope, and a pen. If you'd like to make a donation by check or cash, please simply write your name on the form and put the cash or check in the envelope. If you wish to donate using credit card or a pledge to be paid later, fill out the form and put that in the envelope. You can also scan the QR code on the handout, wow, to securely donate by card. Yes, and then Zen Master covered the rest. We'll come up to these boxes, one on each side, and I will. Yeah, we're just going to chant the Kwan part. Recite the four great vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to send them all. Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. We vow to attain it. Please be seated.
You stand.
Oh, wait, I have to get mine. We'll do standing announcements. So we have a few brief announcements. Lunch is at 12 o'clock in the dining room. We're delighted to have any of our visitors join us for lunch. Few guidelines. Feel free to eat anywhere in the building, but we ask you to return your trash to the bins outside the dining room and your dishes to the kitchen. If you are not paying overnight fees and you feel so inclined, please help defray food costs by leaving a donation for your lunch. There's a donation box for the meals in the dining room. It's actually right outside the dining room on the right. We're looking for 2 more volunteers for lunch cleanup today. 1, 2, thank you. Please, yeah, you can catch up with Mary Kay for that. Other volunteer roles are listed on the bulletin board by the shoe rack. The gift shop will be open today during lunch and may be open at other times. Stop by, and if the door is open, come on in. At 1:30, please join us outside for the Providence Zen Center Zen Fest and Cookout. There's an exclamation point there, so I gotta. After the performances at 6 p.m., there will be a ceremonial burning at the fire pit, which is in the clearing out back. And then, I don't know. Oh, okay. Ceremony burning at the fire pit. Then evening practice in the dorm room back here at 6:30. The day's festivities conclude with a conscious dance in the dorm room immediately following practice. The precept ceremony is tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Refer to the bulletin board for times and places of the preparatory meetings that take place before the ceremony Sunday morning. Thank you all for sharing this special weekend with us. Thank you.